Alrighty everyone, well game number 2 in this best of 5 series finds us on New Repugnancy LE for a matchup between two of the best players in the world with their respective races that was played at the IEM in Katowice and was one of the semifinal matchups of that tournament, spawning here in the top right hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is Dark. And his opponent spawning the bottom left hand side of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is none other than Stats. So guys and girls, game number 2 in this best of 5 series, as I said, game number 1 was an exciting one, and this game I'm sure is going to be giving us a lot of excitement for sure, as both these players are very similar in skill sets, both very good players to say the least. I gotta say, in game number 1, Dark just played a very good macro focus game, went for a really nice timing push there. I really think what told the tale of the tape was really when Stats decided to fly across the map with all of those kind of going in for a little bit of a push with a lot of Phoenixes, and Dark's defense was absolutely on point, and there was just really bad positioning for Stats' Phoenixes, and it ended up being really bad for Stats because he lost a lot of supply, and then Dark just counterattacked with a lot of Zerglings, Banelings, Hydralisks. That very classic Ling-Bane Hydra composition is what finished it for Dark. But let's see what both our players are deciding to do in this game. Looks like a very similar build to game number 1 for Dark. Hatch, gas, pool opener, followed up by a quick third hatchery. On the opposite side, it looks like Stats has a very similar build as well. Nexus, Gateway, Cybernetics Core. And so I'm assuming we're kind of seeing a little bit of something similar as we did in game number 1. One difference I'm noticing right off the bat, though, is that the robotics facility is coming in very quickly in this game. So we're going to see the robotics facility coming in for Stats, and I'm excited to see what this is going to transition to for him, as we are going to see of course, he's going to have out of his gateway, and Adept is going to be coming in. He's also going to be upgrading the Warp Gate, or getting that Warp Gate researched, and we are going to see that followed up by a Stalker. And then on the opposite side of the map, we are seeing Dark going for that standard Metabolic Boost upgrade, the most standard upgrade for a Zerg player, which of course is the Ling Speed. We are going to see this followed up by a Roach Horn, so we're starting to see a little bit of a difference in build orders by both these players, as a couple of Zerglings did make their way across the map, and they did try to nibble away at those probes. Nothing too crazy as of yet, though. So we are starting to see Roaches coming in, as that Ling Speed is going to be finishing up. We are going to be seeing a War Prism is going to be coming out of the robotics facility. And I wonder if he's going to start pushing across the map with some units here shortly, as Dark seems to be making some units himself. So I'm wondering if he's going to be going in for a timing push here shortly. Should be interesting. And I got to say, guys, I love the skins on the Zerg, on Dark's Zerglings, and on, of course, the Zerg pieces, of course, out of the War Chest. Absolutely incredible. They come up with some really awesome skins. But that being said, Metabolic Boost does finish up. Warp Gate is going to be finishing up in less than 5 seconds, and that's going to be happening, and it does look like there are units across the map now on the opposite side of the map, and they are going to start to move in, as we are seeing Ravagers they're going to start morphing in as well. And this is absolutely a timing push that is coming in now for Dark. But the question is he going to be held off? It does look like he is, at least for the time being, as that War Prism is filled up completely. Immortal and a couple, as well as a Stalker and Adept, as Dark is starting to retreat back home. Very interesting decision making here. He wants to get a few kills here and there on a lot of these units across the map. So that being said, it does look like, oh, that Immortal almost went down, just barely went down. Wow. Beautiful pickup micro there by Stats, saving that Immortal. that said, we're seeing the follow-up now. We're starting to see what Stats is planning on transitioning to, which is a Forge, so he's probably going to start getting those upgrades, and then he's got, of course, another Gateway as well as a Twilight Council. So I like the decision-making here so far by Stats, and I really liked his defense there. He was able to have some really nice stellar defense, which a lot of times the stellar defense, guys, translates to really good offense, generally speaking, in the world of StarCraft 2. So I like to say that in StarCraft 2, a lot of times defense does win championships just as much as playing a very good offense can really, of course, help out. Well, here we go. It does look like there is going to be some nice defense by Dark, at least starting, but Stats is not done yet. It looks like Stats wants to find an angle with a couple of those Immortals. He's looking to find any angle he possibly can. It looks like he's trying to get the creep spread to move backward somewhat. And that said, it's kind of at a stalemate here. We're almost at a stalemate. It looks like we are going to see Charge being researched. We're going to start seeing those +1 upgrades coming in. We're also going to see more and more gateways added on, 4 to be exact. We are going to see, of course, the lair coming in now for Dark. He is going to be morphing that lair, start getting those higher tier lair based units. So he's getting the lair a little bit later than he did in game number 1. But he's adding on more and more roaches. And, you know, I don't know. I actually really like the position Stats is in right now. His army composition, I like the variety that he's got, that variety of spice, so to speak. But he's got, you know, an army of Immortals, Sentries, Stalkers, Adepts, and even a Zealot. So as Ground Weapons level 1 finishes up, and Charge is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds, we are starting to see now Archons are being added on as well. And I'm starting to see this army is starting to look a little bit scary. Here comes Dark. Looks like he is going to try to get a little bit of an angle just to see if he can get some good scouting information. But it does look like 2 of those Archons are hauled into that War Prism, and they are going to start moving across the map, try to get a couple of Overlords if they can. It looks like that is exactly what he's going to do. Beautiful placement. He is absolutely all over the map. He's getting a lot of value out of these, of course, out of those Archons. And now Dark has to decide what he's going to do. Glowry Constitution's being researched. He is getting an Evolution Chamber down. And he's also going to have that Baneling Nest coming in as well. I just don't know if I really like this army composition of Dark. The one thing, though, that can absolutely happen is one bad move by Stats can, you know, spell absolute disaster for Dark. Now, Dark is going on that 4th base now, and that's going to be really helpful as he transitions into the later stages of the game as we are passing that 8-minute mark. But 3 bases for Stats is really going to give him a nice little edge here as he has a death ball of units. And so his upgrades, he's on to the +2 upgrades. Glowry Constitution's going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Dark. We're pretty much almost dead even on the supply, but I just feel this is a scary army here. This is really scary for Dark to have to deal with. Lots of Zealots, charged Zealots, Immortals, Archons, Sentries, and here we go. Looks like the roly-poly upgrade is going to be coming in for Dark. We're also going to see more and more Banelings coming in, as well as those +1 upgrades. Here we go. It does look like Stats is thinking about a specific, how he wants to approach this. A lot of those Banelings did get the nice Baneling hits, but at the same time, now here comes the fleet of units, reinforcements, here we go. It does look like Dark is going to try to pounce on this army. He's not utilizing all of his units, which he has a lot of Zerglings that are just sitting back, not doing much at this point. But here we go. Looks like the Surround is going to try to come in here for Dark, as it does look like his Stats overstaying his welcome. Another massive Warpin is going to be coming in. I just wonder, is there going to be enough beautiful bile there to take out the War Prism, but is it enough? There is a lot of Zealots, a lot of course, Immortals still that are still standing, and these Zealots are having a heyday with all of those drones. Oh my god, so much damage is being dealt. These Immortals are taking so much damage. A little bit of miss micro there by Stats. Can Dark hold on here, as a lot of these units are just being absolutely taken out. Dark, his supply is plummeting, but at the same time, Dark is kind of trying to fight his way back into this thing because there's a bit of an overextension by Stats. Stats somehow, some way, or for some reason or another, decided to continue with the aggression there. And Dark now, if I look at this, Stats, he won the battle, but not by much. And Dark was able, he forced a lot of units out of Dark, but I gotta say, when I look at this, I don't really think that Stats is in that big of a position of power. It just doesn't feel like it, at least. As we're approaching that 11-minute mark now, Storm is being researched, and so we're starting to see the late game really come to fruition now, as we are starting to see a lot of High Templar that are moving out now. Looks like Stats wants to try to close this thing out right now and at least get on the scoreboard to tie this series up. He does have a good amount of units, and I think the Storms are going to be absolutely crucial at this point against the Swarm, as Dark is going to try to get some more biles on some of these units. A little bit of some good micro now from Stats. Is he going to have enough? The Storms are coming in. Those Storms are hit really, really well, and it does look like the 4th base is vulnerable and is going to be under attack, as that 4th base is also being hit by Dark. But it looks like this 4th base is going to go down. And once again, is Stats overstaying his welcome? A lot of these units did get taken out on his side. GG is called, and Dark may have prematurely GG'd, but Stats was starting to take a nice supply lead and was continuing that aggression, and Stats evens up the score. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Stats and Dark, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 3.